So we're past the first half of the year, and we saw that the main producers of gas and electricity in Romania, they reported substantial profits. How was the first half year for E.ON Romania?
Yeah, I think first of all it is important to know that it's clear that customers need support at the time of so high energy prices. That's clear. What happens today? The energy price for electricity, for instance, has been at 250 lei 3 years ago, and now we see 2,500 or even more at prices. If I go to producers, they ask these prices or even more. So let's take an example of my hometown where I live. In my village is a person owning a grocery, selling vegetables and fruits. And he each morning goes to the wholesale market, brings it to the village and sells it to its customers. Imagine that's exactly the situation where we are in. I go to a wholesale market, and through distribution grids I bring the electricity to our customers, and we sell the electricity to our customers. And now imagine that this person goes to the market and does not find tomato or only very few and very expensive tomatoes. No one is blaming him, but knowing that the problem is at the production of tomatoes. And this is exactly the situation where we are in too. So telling just a very few numbers. If the price of 250 lei was for electricity to be paid 3 years ago, and Romania uses something like 50 million megawatt hours per year, everybody in Romania uses so much electricity. If you multiply the two, it comes with 12.5 billion lei, that as an amount of money flowing from customers through suppliers, distributors to producers. Today we have more than 10 times this price, so it's not 12.5 billion lei, but it's 125 billion lei that needs to flow today to producers. So this amount of money flows either from customers or thanks to capped prices now from us to the producers, and you have seen the results. Very high profits at the producers. You may know the results we have recently communicated on the first half of E.ON in Romania. We made losses. That's to the answer where the money is flowing.
And how is your cash flow right now? Because I've seen that other companies in the market have had to borrow money from their mother company.
So the credit lines we used 1 year ago was 0.6 billion lei. Today we already use credit lines of 2.6 billion lei. But with the latest price developments, we would expect for the next few months a few more billions lei we would need from banks. And it's clear this is not going to work because, as I said, I just described how many billions need to flow to producers, otherwise they are not selling today. That money will arrive at the producers, but it's waiting there until the producers pay dividends. In Romania, as you know, most of the electricity producers are state-owned, so the money will go there. It will be paid out as dividends next year, and then the money will arrive in the state budget. Mm-hmm. So the problem of the state is today they say they are not able to pay the money to us. That would mean that we have to pay these extra billions to the producers and waiting 1 year until it comes back. And if it would continue like this, it's not going to work because if the Romanian state has not the possibility to finance this, private companies do not have the possibilities to pre-finance all this either. So there need to be a shortcut. It cannot be that producers ask, or state-owned producers ask for these terrible prices right now. I think we need a solution that prices on wholesale market come down also. And as you know, the European Union tries to have a summit this week. Everybody in Europe needs to find a solution on this, because if only one country finds a solution, of course it's in competition with all the other countries. Then energy would flow out from here to other markets. So it needs a European answer, and everybody understood the urgency because the current prices cannot be paid. But I think there's one more important thing. Romania has a lot of natural gas. Romania has also produces more than 90% of its power, of the electricity need. So it does not make sense that if only 10% of the electricity or of the gas needs to be imported at high prices, it does not make sense that all the domestic and state-owned producers are asking the same prices for final customers. I think the government is hoping for a solution in this sense, that the price from producers are not that expensive at the very beginning. We need to find a lower price from Romanian producers for Romanian customers. We will see what is the EU decision on Friday. And my message is we need to find a solution within a few weeks. We need to find a solution in September, because otherwise the pre-financing is not going to work on the long run. And I also think Romanian industry needs an orientation what is going to happen in January.
I will come back to that, but how much did the state reimburse you until this moment, and what's the backlog?
For the month November to March. The authorities say more or less the refund is closed, so we received last late payments now a few days ago. So you see even money from November was flowing only now. It is clear this with the big amounts to come in this crisis, this cannot work, that we have to wait so long for the money. So the authorities say for the period November to March it's more or less closed, but in fact there's still one open item where we say where we have a dispute what is really to be paid. But for the ordinance which was in place until last week, which started in April, no money has flown today, but at least here are some signs that maybe the money is going to flow quicker. Especially now the minister declares that he hopes to get money sooner in order to be able to pay it also quicker to us. This I cannot judge on the state budget, but it's clear that it must flow quicker because these hundreds of billions of lei in addition cannot be pre-financed by no one.
Hundreds of billions. Okay.
Yes.
We have a new ordinance right now in place from the 1st of September. How many of E.ON's clients fall under the new rules? Energy, maybe gas. Is there a lower number of clients?
In gas, nothing changed through the ordinance from last week, so it is very few customers not with capped prices. In electricity it changed, but it's more or less the same distribution of customers as before. It's just that many customers are protected only for 85% of the consumption of last year, and the other 15% are to be paid at current market prices. I think it is correct to have an incentive to save energy, but this is a political decision. Of course, you also need to combine it with protection measures for energy-intensive industry or for vulnerable household customers. Only if you combine it somehow, it really makes sense and is sustainable. I think, in addition to this, we need to go to the root cause, and the root cause is that also Romanian state-owned producers ask for extremely high prices right now, which in the market is somehow understandable, but it's not a solution for the next months to come. It must change.
Do you propose a cap for the production price?
There are many ideas floating around. I think at the end we need to find a solution that Romanian produced energy, electricity and gas flows at a cheaper price to Romanian customers than today. And in gas it was already implemented in April. I think something like this can be implemented also in electricity right now. I think it needs to be implemented and it needs to be aligned with